Hello, Primary 3 students. This is Miss Stephanie. How are you? Hope that you are safe and well and that you enjoyed your Chinese New Year holiday. Now, we have some online videos and lessons for you during the suspension period. So this is one of the videos that we would like you to watch. And this is about chapter 1 of 3B, and it is about prepositions. So let's start our little lesson and learn about prepositions. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's meet Sam and his friends. So can you guess which one is Sam? Actually, Sam is this boy in the middle. This is Sam. And these are his other classmates. So we are going to use the prepositions to talk about where people are. So where people sit. So for example, let's take a look at our first example. You can see Annie. This is Annie here. Sam and Ken. So you can see where they are here in the classroom. Annie, Sam and Ken. So Sam sits between Annie and Ken. You can use the word between. It's another way to say in the middle. So Sam sits between Annie and Ken. Between, in the middle. Okay, another preposition that you need to learn is, let's see, where does Sam sit? Sam sits behind Katie. So you can see that Sam is kind of at the back of Katie. So the preposition we use to talk about this position is behind. Sam sits behind Katie. And here's a little hint about when should we use the behind preposition. So when you sit behind someone, you can see the person when you sit behind him or her. So Sam, he can see Katie, he can see her because he is behind her. But how about Katie? Where is Katie sitting? Well, when we want to talk about where Katie is sitting, we can use the preposition in front of. So we can say Katie sits in front of Sam. You see, she is at the front. So do you think that Katie can see Sam? Actually, no, she can't. So this is another useful way to think about this preposition. You cannot see the person when you sit in front of him or her. So unless you fully turn your chair around, turn your head around, you cannot see them if you are sitting in front of him or her, in front of. So we use this preposition in front of for the person who sits at this first place in front of. Okay, let's look at a few more examples. So this is Sam and this is Ken. And let's see how are they sitting. See if you can guess. Do you have any idea? What do you think where they are sitting? If you said next to, then good job, you are correct. We can say Ken sits next to Sam. And we can also say Sam sits next to Ken. So next to means they are just, close by each other. Next to. I sit next to. Sam sits next to Ken. And remember, we need to use this S. We cannot say Ken sit next to Sam. We need to use the S form, the active form. Ken sits next to Sam. Sam sits next to Ken. Okay, so this is a little bit more complicated, and even sometimes I still have trouble with this. We are going to talk about your right and your left. So look at Sam. He is looking forward. And you can see that this side, this is Sam's right side. And this side, this is Sam's left side. So Ken, he is on Sam's right or Sam's left? What do you think? Is he on Sam's right over here? Or is he on Sam's left over here? Actually, he is on Sam's left. So another way that Sam can say about where Ken is sitting, he can say Ken sits on my left. You can use this on my left or on my right. So can you see in the picture, this girl, do you think she's sitting on the left or the right of Sam? She's sitting on the right. So we have these two choices on the left and on the right. Okay, so let's take a look. So this is Annie. Can you find Annie in this picture? I can find her. Here she is. This is Annie, and this is Sam. So do you think she sits on his left or right? Let's take a look. So, of course, first you can say, just easy, simple, you can say Sam sits next to Annie and Annie sits next to Sam. Next to is very easy, just means they are very near to each other. Okay, so let's take a look. Now we have Sam's left and Sam's right. So, Annie, do you think Annie is on Sam's right or Sam's left? Actually, she is on the right. She is on Sam's right. So he can say, Annie sits on my right. Or you can also use next to me. These are both ways that you can use the prepositions to tell where someone is sitting. All right, so these are a few of the words that we can use, the prepositions that we can use to talk about position. That is where you sit or where something is. So we can use between, in front of, behind, next to, and on my left and on my right to talk about positions. Be careful with on my left and on my right. This one is the most difficult because you need to face front ways, you know, like this girl face front. And then this is the left side. This is the girl's left hand. This is on the left. And the other side is, this is the right hand. So this is on my right. So left and right. If you are facing front, that means if your face is looking forwards. So this is the key structure that we would like you to learn from this video. And it is about where people sit. So for example, you can say Barry sits between Dick and Fiona. That means that Barry sits in the middle of them. Barry sits between. And you can say Barry sits in front of Ron, or Barry sits behind Ron or behind me, or Barry sits next to the name, or Barry sits on my left or on my right. So these are all the prepositions that we have learned. So let's have a practice. Don't worry if you don't understand yet. We will do a few practice and you can always watch this video again until you feel like you know more about prepositions. So fill in the blank with the correct preposition. Okay, let's take a look at the first sentence. Katie sits Ben. Okay, can you find Katie? Oh, I can find Katie, she's here. And Ben is here. So what do you think should go in this blank? Katie sits Ben. Okay, let's find out the answer. Katie sits next to Ben. You can say next to, no problem. Good job if you got it right. All right, let's try another one. David, here's David with the glasses, looks like Harry Potter. David sits Sue and May. Okay, which preposition do you think we should use here? David sits Sue and May. There are two girls, so it should be David sits between Sue and May. Remember, between means in the middle. All right, next one, a little bit more difficult now. Katie sits on So this is Ben who is speaking. Ben is the speaker. And Katie is either on his left or his right. So what do you think? On his left or on his right? All right, let's take a look. Katie sits on my right. She sits on my right, on the right side of Ben. All right, next one. Tony. Here's Tony. Tony sits Annie. So you see Tony's here